Good morning, class. Today I'll be teaching you guys about two psychologists and how it relates to classroom learning. Feel free to give some examples. Today we'll be talking about Wiener and Webb. Now let's talk about Wiener's attribution theory. Attribution is the process of interpreting the causes for a specific event or behavior. Frank, why don't you tell me what that means to you? Well, to me, that means why we behave in a certain way. Humans feel a need to express success and failure. Good job, Frank. Now, basically, it can be broken down into four categories: ability, effort, task, difficulty, and luck. So let's start with ability. Let's say you're taking a math test. Well, I've always been good at math. Okay, now let's talk about effort. What do you think effort means? Well, I study every day, and what about the third one, task difficulty? Well, I pass all my tests with an A, and then luck. Oh, well, we learned all this last year, so I'm more likely to pass the test. So basically, ability is things you've always had. You've always had a knowledge and, you just know what you're doing. With effort, you study every day, so you're more likely to pass. Task difficulty. You've always been good at math, so you've never really felt the need to study for tests. And luck, well, we went over all this last year, so there's no need for you to study. So, why we succeed or fail depends on how we handle school. If you've always been good at math, well, what are you more likely to do? Well, I'm probably not going to study if I've always been good at math. You're right. And if you fail a test, what are you more likely to do? Well, I'm more likely to study. So, let's talk about Norman Webb now, his depth of knowledge theory. Basically, depth of knowledge is, well, Frank, maybe you should say it. It's a way of categorizing tasks based on a complexity of thought they provoke. So basically, you're putting things in categories based on how you handle them, correct? Yeah, if you want to put it in layman's terms. Okay. Well, let's talk about those four levels, Frank, or maybe you can tell us a little bit more about them, since you already studied over the material. With pleasure. It can be broken down into four levels. Number one, recall. Basically, this is memorizing facts and reciting facts. So this might be like reciting a poem or memorizing terms or vocabulary words. What about the second one, skills? Skills concepts. This might be like summarizing a story or identifying key characters and writing about them. Three, what about strategic thinking? This might be like performing a science experiment. You're developing a hypothesis, and then you're using logic reasoning to come up with a hypothesis or theory. Number four, well, I like to think of this as like being a philosopher. Maybe for this part of the process, you might analyze Shakespeare or write about modern-day plays. Or maybe you talk about the character Tom Robinson and Tom Robinson and his symbolism to The Mockingbird and To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Yes, Frank, it seems like you know exactly what you're talking about. And we taught the whole class a little bit more about Norman Webb and about Wiener. Any more questions?